When I was choosing the cover design for my first book, there was really no question. The version with my face, big, on the cover was the one that stood out the most. Plus, it fit so well with my message. And more than anything, I wanted to connect with my readers. But everyone in the traditional publishing world told me not to do it. They said for this kind of book, the cover should be all text, maybe a small illustration, much like the Tim Ferriss, Malcolm Gladwell, Gary Vaynerchuk books it was associated with. It would be unbelievably scary to not listen to those experts and instead listen to myself. Trust me, especially as a female entrepreneur, not only was I scared of being criticized or of people thinking I was vain or full of myself, but you might be surprised to hear that until pretty recently, I was also painfully camera shy. So I almost didn't do it, but I did. And I had the guts to do it because I spent years doing something that I call banking confidence. And I want to tell you exactly how I do it so that you can do it too. At first, it was accidental, stemming from just a strong desire to do everything my way. Like many of us, when I graduated from college, I wanted to save the world, as long as I could do it my way. And I didn't see why I couldn't. I had graduated from a top school with an economics degree. I founded a nonprofit in microfinance. I taught a class on the subject. I even did a fellowship in social entrepreneurship. I imagined throwing huge, fabulous fundraisers, hobnobbing with the rich and famous, raising massive amounts of money for enterprising women in developing countries. And I wanted to be in charge. I wanted autonomy. I wanted freedom and flexibility, to be respected and well paid. But turns out, shockingly, there were no open positions for a queen bee, boss of everything, entry-level CEO. Well, if I couldn't get the perfect job, I wasn't going to settle. So instead, I offered my services to a nonprofit for free, just so I could run the whole project exactly the way I wanted. While I did that, I was trying to get my own social enterprise off the ground. And since doing these things my way didn't pay, literally, I also hustled nights and weekends as a bartender to support myself and make it happen. I didn't know it at the time, but this was the first time that I took a leap. When you ignore convention and instead go towards something you really want and take a leap with no clear path to success, you start banking something really game-changing. But I'll admit, between you and me, initially that whole no clear path to success piece really got the best of me. But by this point, all my friends had a leg up on me in their fields, either in their first year of law school or business school, or they'd just been banking money and experience in whatever career they had chosen. And I felt so behind. This is usually when people start questioning themselves, right? But I was banking something too. I just didn't know it yet. I was so ready to pounce on my thing. I started scrolling through job listings on Craigslist for ideas, and I came across this cryptic post. I couldn't tell what the job was, but it hit some key points. Be your own boss, make your own hours, unlimited earning potential. Plus, the office was 3 blocks from my apartment. No commute. I scheduled an interview out of pure curiosity. The next day, I met with Nick, who made a great case for why I would crush it. So, what was it? Real estate. I knew nothing about real estate. Wasn't that interested in it, frankly. But when he explained what the job entailed, I thought, yeah, I could see myself getting pretty good at that. I just loved that I would succeed or fail based solely on my efforts. So I jumped in with 2 feet. Pretty soon I was showing $10,000 a month apartments, hustling for sure, but also making fat commissions now and then. Until 2008 happened. What I know now is that when you have banked enough confidence, because you have taken enough leaps, big external threats like great recessions won't easily undermine you. But back then, I didn't have it. Yet. In fact, back then I tried all kinds of things. I helped open a cafe pizzeria. I produced theater. I worked for a small tech startup. I even lived off of selling art on the street in Manhattan for an entire summer. But meanwhile, it seemed like everyone around me knew what their mission in life was, except me. I wondered, am I just being stubborn, insisting on doing everything my way? And for what? I felt like I had nothing concrete to show for it. But I was wrong. And I want to tell you a story about how it took a breakdown on a beach in paradise to make me see what I really had been banking that whole time. By 2010, I was ready to take this whole my way thing to the next level. I wondered, what's better than being a CEO? Being a retired CEO? I mean, don't we all just want to live on the beach and enjoy our lives? So when my fiance Steve and I heard about a farm in the British Virgin Islands that would let young, scrappy people like us work in exchange for food and rent in paradise, it sounded like a great opportunity to see if maybe we could bypass this whole system. Maybe we could move straight to paradise, enjoy our lives, skip the career, and not even need money. We had no idea what to expect. We had only exchanged a couple one-line emails with the farmer before we went. Our instructions when we arrived were to exit the airport, walk to the end of the road, and then ask someone on the beach for Aragorn. And yes, the farmer's name was actually Aragorn. So that's what we did. Sure enough, the first person we found pointed to this welding art studio hut down the beach, and there he was. And despite the fact that within hours of arriving, we were covered in unbearable bites by these invisible bugs they call flying teeth, and the fact that we had no electricity, no internet, and we literally had to gather sticks to build a fire for every meal we ate, it really was paradise. After just a couple of hours of farm work each morning, the day was ours to hitchhike around the island and do whatever we wanted. And despite the flying teeth, it was nearly perfect. Here I was with the love of my life, zero responsibility, no need for money, and all the time in the world to just read and think and be. I had everything I wanted. I had everything I thought everyone wanted. So it was a shock when one day, sitting on one of the many private beaches with the crystal clear water and the sugary white sand and the perfectly placed palm trees all around us, I started to sob uncontrollably. I thought I would feel different, but I didn't. I felt empty. And I know this is a cliche, but it was so poignant in that moment, sitting on the hot sand. It was like I had been in a desert, desperately trying to get to an oasis in the distance, only to find out when I finally got there, it was a mirage. It didn't exist. We all believe we are going to arrive one day on the mountaintop and then have everything we want and be the confident and successful people we want to be. I was sobbing because I was mourning the loss of that idea. But when it disappeared, it's like it cleared the way to see what I really had been doing that whole time. I had been taking leap after leap into unknown territory, and with each experience, banking more confidence in myself that I could take on anything. Everything. It was so obvious. How come I hadn't seen it before? I'm here arguing that the more confidence you bank, the more opportunities you open up for yourself in the future. And you do this by taking leaps, even when the outcome is scary or unknown, or when there's no clear path to success. While other people were banking money, I was banking confidence. The kind of true confidence you cannot use the fake it till you make it strategy to get. And now I can go after what I want in life with my foot all the way on the gas, because I have a little secret. When you make it true for yourself that anything you try will bank more confidence, you cannot make a wrong move. And my business is really a manifestation of this. As a branding studio in Brooklyn, we named our company something that would make anyone uncomfortable. Worstofall Design. I charge audacious prices, and I make my clients pay in full upfront. I'm okay saying a lot of things a lot of people don't like, and I push people to do a lot of things that make them very uncomfortable. And people always ask me, where do you get the confidence to say that, to charge that, to do that? This is how I get it. It's not because I'm some business genius, and it's certainly not because I was born with it. I have experienced that taking leaps is the only way to bank true confidence. When I had to make the decision to face my fear and put my face on my book cover, I was ready. I had been training for that moment. And if you Google me now, you'll laugh because my face is everywhere. And by the way, I care so much less about the judgment now. I want you to imagine what you could do in your life if you took the leaps you don't take because you're scared things won't work out the way you want them to, and instead took them because taking leaps banks confidence, no matter what happens. I dare you to try. And no matter what, you will have done something so valuable for yourself. you will have freed up unlimited possibilities in your life. And I don't know exactly what you will discover in your revelation in paradise moments, but I promise it'll be something amazing, something only you will discover if you take a leap. Thank you.